Right then, lads and lasses, how we doing, and welcome back to the channel. The newest addition to this bizarre injury crisis we are currently suffering so bad from is unfortunately Joe Willock. It's been reported by Craig Hope and Keith Downey that Joe Willock will miss the entire remainder of the season. Not great news whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, as we all know, it's an Achilles injury. This has been ongoing for such a long time. 3 times this season he's been injured. He's only played one whole 90 this season. It's not great stats whatsoever, and also, even before this injury, but of course more importantly now, it barks up another conversation. When Newcastle United are so infamously restricted by financial fair play, we might have to offload the likes of Callum Wilson, Miguel Almiron. Eyes are looking towards Joe Willock. He's getting a bit injury prone right now. We've got so much quality in midfield with the likes of Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton, Elliot Anderson, who's doing very, very great recently, and of course we'll touch upon him because he'll need to fill in the boots of Joe Willock. Should we cash in on Joe Willock, bought him for £25 million, how much more should we want? We'll take a look at absolutely everything, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the news of Joe Willock and what we should do with him, and of course, should his future look like it should be on Tyneside. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Injury news aside, a possible Joe Willock exit is not something I want to speak about whatsoever. He has so much quality. He's only 24 years old and he's a player I really, really do like, and he's been here for quite a long time now. It's nearly going on 5 years. But just before we take a look at the news, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button if you do enjoy the video, and of course if you end up enjoying the video, subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content. Turn that bell on as well to be first for these videos so you're never ever late to the news, and let me know down below, what would you do with Joe Willock's future at Newcastle United? Should we cash in on him with this injury problem, or should he keep on Tyneside because we all know the quality that he brings to Newcastle United? We'll take a look at his quality and what he brings to Newcastle United as well. But starting with the news, ladies and gentlemen, like I said at the start of the video, unfortunately, Joe Willock will miss the entire of the season. Now, it's actually been reported that after a visit to the specialist on that Achilles injury, it wasn't very, very bad. It wasn't actually going to keep him out for the entire of the season, but Eddie Howe has said, we don't want to risk it now. And of course, it's actually been said by Eddie Howe that Joe Willock is crucial in his plans for next season. He wants Joe Willock to keep fit, to not play for the entire season, kind of do without him, and to be fit for pre-season because he really is in Eddie Howe's plans. Now that is certainly music to my ears, because in my opinion, before we even touch upon it, I don't want to sell Joe Willock. Now, sentimentality might be grabbing me by the hair there, but I really, really do like what Joe Willock brings to this team. We'll take a look in just a second. But for Joe Willock this season, it, like I said, injured 3 times now. It's only been 9 starts and 5 substitute appearances. Not great whatsoever. And as we all know, his performances this season when he has played, maybe for the exception of Manchester United away in the Carabao Cup when he just come back from injury as well, he's not been great whatsoever. Seriously, not the Joe Willock that we all know and love. But do I think Joe Willock should be sold? Of course, because of this injury problem, and we've got quite a bit of quality in midfield, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton, Elliot Anderson, Lewis Miley, even Sean Longstaff, who against Fulham, and of course we're seeing his quality last season. There's so much quality in that midfield area. Do we need to do with another player of Joe Willock? And the simple and short answer for me, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, yes, and yes. He's been here for nearly 5 years now, of course, 24 years old. He's got his best years ahead of him, but what he brings to Newcastle United is so, so unique. You've got your likes of Joe Linton, who, by the way, is absolutely unbelievable, and actually, on a side note, he is going to be back before the end of the season, so while Joe Willock's out, you know, Joe Linton's coming back, kind of a ready, fit replacement. Of course, Joe Linton's not expected to be back in the next 2-3 weeks, for example, but he will be back before the end of the season. But what Joe Willock brings to Newcastle United is so unique. He can pick up that ball, and actually, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best ball progressing players we've got in the club as a whole, even including the likes of Isak, who maybe is just a little bit better. But Joe Willock in that midfield area, for me in the midfield, he is the best ball progressing midfielder. Better than Bruno, better than Sandro Tonali, and better than Joe Linton as well. But we all know next season, Joe Willock, although I'm singing his praises here, he's not going to start in that midfield, is he? It's going to be Joe Linton, Bruno, and Sandro Tonali on the right, unless Sandro Tonali plays in a 6. That's been talked about quite a lot. God knows what's going to happen, but let's be real, Joe Willock will not start in that midfield, although he started 31 times out of 38 possible Premier League games last season. He's going to be on the bench, but when he comes on, the impact that he'll bring is absolutely fantastic. When the other opposing team is shattered, Joe Willock progresses with that ball so fantastically, and of course, due to his fantastic versatility, whoever's playing left wing, if it's Joe Linton, they can chop and change, interchange of course, and that is such a fantastic, unique ability of Joe Willock as well. But also, ladies and gentlemen, when we signed Joe Willock in 2020, I believe it was, might have been 2021. First, by the way, of course, after that fantastic loan spell, what was it? 7 goals in 7 games, which practically kept us up that season. I'll never forget that. But look, when we signed Joe Willock, it wasn't cheap, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, this is before we actually got took over. It was £25 million. £25 million is not cheap, especially pre-takeover as well. So if we were to sell Joe Willock, what would that price tag be? Would it be £40 million, of course? English tax is there. English players always get that sort of price burdened up. He's a very good midfielder. He's only 24 years old. I was going to say 4 years old there. I'm thinking about... Let's be real, I don't think we'd get 50 million for Joe Willock, which is double that 25 million price tag. 50 million, it may just be a bit too much if we were to sell him. I'm not saying I want to, but let's be real, 40 million pounds for me. It's kind of where Newcastle United stand right now. I don't think anyone will go out there and pay £40 million, but as Newcastle United value him at what he kind of brings to the club, let's be real, we're not going to sell him for £30 million. We're not going to cut it short, get his quality out of the way, only at 24 years old, and get a £5 million profit. It's not going to happen whatsoever, and in my opinion, I don't want to sell Sean Longstaff. I don't want to sell Sean Longstaff, but Sean Longstaff, if we were to sell a midfielder, because of course, we've got 7 fantastic midfielders there, I've already named them about 10 times, if we were to sell either one, for me, it would be Sean Longstaff. I mean, Joe Willock brings more quality. Sean Longstaff, although he's a Geordie lad, and I want him to stay here, and that's not particularly just because of the poor season he's having this season, but he will also be PR profit. So if we sell Sean Longstaff for around £15 million, that's £15 million profit we're getting straight back. A product of the academy, that is the best way to work with financial fair play. But where there is darkness, there is also hope, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe not in Newcastle United's case this season, but certainly in this sort of situation, there is. With Joe Willock's absence, we've got a ready-made midfielder who, although next season, of course, will be below the pecking order of Joe Willock. But this season, Elliot Anderson, he's stepped up his game, ladies and gentlemen. And you all know me, I'm so fair, I'm going to hold my hands up. Last season, Elliot Anderson did not impress me whatsoever. I mean, of course, he just came off the back. No disrespect to Bristol Rovers, by the way, but he just came back off a loan spell with Bristol Rovers in League 2, I believe it was at that time. Yes, it was League 2. And he comes to the Premier League. Let's be real, he's not going to absolutely set the world alight. He was just 20 years old or 19 years old. A very, very young lad. But this season, he looks more muscular. He looks way more physical. He's in every single challenge. His passing's great. Uses his body very, very well. I really do like the look of Elliot Anderson. If we can keep him in Newcastle next season, which 99% we will. I mean, he's a product of the academy. He supports Newcastle United. He is a Geordie. No team's coming in from. He is going to stay here. He's a very, very good player to have behind the scenes. But yet again, does that allude to a possible midfielder's exit? Because let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, Tonali's not going anywhere. We've just signed him for £55 million. I think it was £55 million. He's not going anywhere. Bruno, fingers crossed he's not going anywhere. Joe Linton just signed a new long-term contract. He's not going anywhere. Lewis Miley, yet again, product of the academy. One of the best up-and-coming talents in the world. He's not going anywhere. Elliot Anderson's not going anywhere. Sean Longstaff's a Geordie lad. That's 6 players there. What's the need of a 7th midfielder for? It is a very peculiar situation. It just depends who comes in for the price tag. But in my opinion, look, the quality that he brings to come off the bench and improve us so drastically, that's why I would not sell Joe Willock every day of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And when you take it into context, just before I wrap up the video, when we're getting the Champions League money at the end of the season, the Premier League money, Noon, Seller, new Adidas money, Castor, all that sort of stuff, the match day revenue, take everything into context. And if we do offload the likes, who I wouldn't be too angry with, by the way, Miggy Almiron, Callum Wilson, maybe the likes of, I don't know, Loris Karius for 500 grand or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Some sort of players behind the scenes, that's surely got to be enough to let us work with a budget in the summer. There's no way we are that badly restricted, because Newcastle would be taken much further, of course, that situation to extent. But look, ladies and gentlemen, you let me know down below. What am I saying? Yeah, you let me know down below what you would do in the Joe Willock situation. Is it too early to cash in on him? 24 years old, got his best years ahead of him, and of course, we've already seen the quality that he can bring to Newcastle United. In my opinion, I'm keeping Joe Willock here, but of course, on the other hand, he's out for the season. Not what we want to hear whatsoever. It's not been a great season for Joe Willock, arguably due to injuries, due to the lack of game time, and of course, his performances when he has come back, which have not always been his fault. Maybe the worst season he's had in a Newcastle United shirt, unfortunately. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you let me know your thoughts on this Joe Willock situation down below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn their notification bells on. I've been Geordie Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people.